Yeah, so when I was thinking about what I was going to chat about tonight, I was thinking about as we go into December, what tends to happen is after the summer we've lost a few people. So a few people that joined us have lost, have gone off. We'll go into December, and it really always surprises me in December because we can lose people in December as well. And I can never quite get my head around it. It always baffles me a little bit because I think to myself, well, you've spent all that time working it, and we're just getting to a point now in January when everything's going to start, all that hard work and all that consistency is going to start coming to fruition. But it basically boils down to what people's mindset is, towards the business, and not just towards our business. This can be towards any business whatsoever. And it's almost as if people, so they get involved in network marketing. And I think one of the things is because we have a low startup fee, and if you sell your 4 apps, it's a zero setup cost. And obviously we talk to people about that. And so when a lot of people get involved, they tend to they treat it really as like a little hobby. So, and that's fine. That's fine if they want it as a little hobby. That's not a problem at all. And I don't ever want anybody to feel that they're being judged for how they work the business, because that's not the case at all. But obviously what happens is that people will work it as a little hobby, but then they're wondering why they're not actually getting further forward with it. Okay. And sometimes, and what happens a lot of the time is that people will work it for a certain amount of time, and they'll be going along and they'll be trying and they'll be doing certain things, and then all of a sudden they switch on and they just go, okay. I know we've got Fee, who definitely 100% is in this place. He was like, that's it now. Okay, I don't want to stand up at another One Team One Mission as a distributor. I'm not happy with that at all. I've seen it. I want to go for it. I'm going for it. And then, you've got people like, obviously, Kayomi, who came in and just went, no, that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give it everything from the very second that she joined. And, it really doesn't matter which one you are, as long as you switch on at some point. It really, really doesn't matter. I was thinking today actually about this time last year. I'd pointed out to somebody that they could have some pretty hefty promotions within their team, and they couldn't get their head around it at all. They were like, I just can't get that. And it made me think about how this time last year, both Tracy and Sarah, who obviously hit diamond in April and May, neither of them had seen a single promotion by this point in the year. Okay. So they've both been with us for, Tracy been with us since the March of that year, and Sarah since the July. And at December time, they were both working the business. They were both really trying. In November, I'd done an opportunity meeting for both of them. So I'd been to Southport to do a giant wrap party, and I'd also been to Leicester. So they were both switched on. It wasn't that they weren't switched on. It wasn't that they weren't being consistent. They were working it. But then when we get into, and there's only one way I can call it, is silly season. It's just silly what happens within the next few months. And if you're consistent now, then when silly season hits and you're even more consistent, you just get fired up by the interest. And here's Tracy now. Tracy, I was just sharing how this time last year you hadn't promoted at all within the business,
No.
had you?
No, not
So
at
you've
all.
been with us since March, and I was just saying how you'd been consistent, how you know, admittedly, you weren't quite switched on with the distributor thing until like September time.
Yeah.
You've been consistent. You know, you'd always been talking about the wraps. September came, you were switched on with the distributors. I'd been to see both you and Sarah in November. I'd seen you both. December, no promotions yet. But
Yeah.
then I was just saying it's silly season. Just getting into silly season now, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. But it's like everybody. It doesn't mean that you have to stop as well, because is that what you're saying? That you should all carry on just.
I was just explaining how it doesn't matter whether you start all guns blazing or you start a bit slower, or you know, whatever. Whenever you switch on, you switch on.
That's it. It doesn't hold you back.
No, unless you let it in your head. It can in your head sometimes, can't it? Because you can get tied up with the fact that, and I see this a lot, you can get tied up and people go, well, I've been in the business 8 months and I've not got anywhere yet, and they've only been in it 2 months, and people, you know,
you can't let it hold you back. You've just got to be, it's just when it's your time, full stop.
Yeah.
And it's just the strangest thing, because you just know it's there for you and you just go for it. You just go.
Once it's switched in your head and you get into the season where obviously people want to wrap more than anything else in the world, and they want to earn more money, and they want to do, and you know, they just go through that whole January thing of new starts and everything. And I'm trying to remember when you hit Ruby.
I didn't take any notice because I was waiting for my diamond. That's really bad, isn't it?
I actually think, didn't you hit Ruby in April and diamond in May? No, Ruby in March and diamond in April. You did.
Yeah, because it was literally
executive.
I missed it, and if you remember, I just didn't acknowledge it. I was like, yeah, but it's diamond. I'm going for diamond. Yeah, it was that like that, and then it just.
Yeah, I think you might have hit executive in the same month as you hit Ruby, which was in the March, and then so you double promoted to that in the March, and then in the April you double promoted to the diamond.
It was something like that. I know it was ever so strange, because you feel that you're a bit in limbo as well, because I could see all underneath me, it kind of the foundations being there, and you just think, when's it going to come into place? And then all of a sudden, it's there.
Yeah, that's how I feel right now. I'm just waiting.
Honestly,
it does happen though.
Yeah.
It is really mental, Fiona, but it's like you just you look and you think, okay, it is like this, isn't it? All underneath you, then it's thinking, okay, that's there. When is it going to come?
Yeah.
And it comes, and like Mel's just said, I mean, I didn't like my Ruby thing. I was like, yeah, I'm just going for diamond. That was in my head at the time. But she was right. I just hit the Ruby the 1 month and then got the diamond. Got the next.
And to be fair, we hardly really charted for Ruby, did we?
No.
Full time we were charting for diamonds with both you and Sarah, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Both you and Sarah hit the Ruby in the March. You both hit Ruby in the March at the same time.
Yeah.
And neither of you had really charted for that. It was sort of near the end of the month, we suddenly went, oh, I think you could actually promote.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird. So I don't think we'll make that mistake again, will we? No, just because I think, you know, we can make sure that you get the executive, you get the Ruby, and you know exactly where you're going to. But with the bigger picture in mind, obviously, of the diamond.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the thing, and I think actually, if we'd have done that, like you say, the goals would have felt more achievable.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see what I mean? You'd have seen it coming a lot earlier.
Yeah.
Going for the big prize.
Yeah, because you hit the Ruby in the middle of the month, I think, didn't you?
Yeah. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, it really was, wasn't it? It was. Looking back now,
It's
Think
now.
now when you've got your team now looking to do that Ruby, and you know how it means to them.
Yeah, this is it. Like now I look back and you kind of, I did miss it. I did miss that little recognition that I should have had, but it was just head down going on. And now, you should watch. You should watch your charts, really. But we weren't looking for that, were we? We were going for the.
We were very, very focused.
Yeah, but it does come together, and it does. A month makes such a massive difference. And
also, this month, a day.
Yeah.
I think at one point at the end of March, weren't you something like, I can't remember how many distributors you were off. It was something like 4 or 6 distributors off, weren't you? And then you still, and then the day before you hit your Ruby, on the morning of the Ruby, it was something like 16 boxes, or even more, wasn't it? Was it something like 23?
That was that my diamond one? And I got
morning of your diamond, you were 23 boxes short. I think, weren't we?
And you were trying to ease me down gently, as if to say, no, we've got. It doesn't matter if it doesn't happen. We've done really. Yeah, it's like, no, it's going to happen.
No, you weren't having it at all. It happened. It really did. But I think I just wanted to put everybody, because I was just explaining, Tracy, that I'd messaged somebody today and said, you do realise that you could be at this level by April. And they were like, no, I can't get my head around that at all. That's just completely crazy. How could that happen? And it made, and I was like, well, Tracy and Sarah were not promoting, not in a bad way. It wasn't that you weren't anything like that. It's just those that things weren't slotting into place.
Yeah.
So so I just wanted to let everybody know that, because I think it's really, really important. And I also went back to 2 years ago when so in the December, I was executive. So I'd been Ruby previously, but I lost it. And in the December, I was an executive. And I actually woke up and said, I'm going to be diamond in January. And, that's mental. I was only an executive. And I hit emerald. It only looked like I'd promoted once, but I hadn't, because I'd slipped down to executive, and I hit the emerald in the January, and then in the February I hit the diamond. And you don't think that, looking back now, you think to yourself, people would think that that's just impossible.
Yeah.
It so isn't. It is so doable as we enter this season.
And it is strange, because you all think you do all think that's just, no, like you say, it's impossible. It's so far away.
It just
and honestly, I'm here to tell you that it is, without a doubt. It's so doable.
Yeah.
But at the time, you just think, no, without a doubt, it's not easy. But you can, if you put your mind to it, and you just don't let the negativity come in. That was what it was with me. I think that helps a lot. I was just, this is going to happen.
So, the thing is, though, when I say it's not easy, that almost makes it sound like it's hard. It isn't hard work as in horrible.
Yeah.
Because it is so exciting, and the adrenaline kicks in.
The buzz that you get.
The buzz, and every single day it feels like you're getting a bit closer. So it doesn't, the fact that you're working probably harder than you've ever worked before, it doesn't feel like work. It's not like work like you've done a full shift somewhere.
Yeah, it's not drudgery. It's not drudgery. No. It's just mixed with excitement all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
and you'll get days as well.
Sorry.
I'm starting to know that I know I'm working harder, because I know my hubby he's seeing it now. I'm starting to get on his nerves now. So that's when I know, like, I must be working kind of a bit harder now, but yeah, no, I just, I keep looking for other things that I could be doing, but I really am working at it full time, you know, so I'm hoping that it'll all just come to fruition. Everything that I'm putting in right now will hopefully in January it'll just really, you know, help me to get up those ranks, you know, so.
It will do, honestly, I really do promise you. And
Yeah.
it is the key now is, so scheduling between Christmas and New Year is crucial. You know, you know, at the end of the day, you're going to want to spend time with your family. I want to spend time with my family. You know, my husband's off, he gets very few holidays in a year. So, you know, you know, I'm going to want to spend time with them. But the good thing is he's pretty used to it now. So this is our third Christmas with It Works. So he knows what to expect. He knows that whilst I will block out time and spend time with the boys and sit and watch a movie, that when they've gone to bed, that I probably will, you know, I will be picking up and I will be like scheduling more posts and I will be answering queries. But because he sees the benefits of it, it's a lot easier now. Obviously the first Christmas was tough. But what I'd say is, feel free if anybody needs to. So the one thing that I did is I had Neil on the team page, and what that meant is that in the December when I was doing the work, and he was just getting to the point where he'd said to me, I think you need to go and find another job. So he knew I wasn't going to give up It Works. And because he saw what was happening on the team page, he backed off. And he said, okay, I can see it. I can see the excitement. I can see it's working. So, you know, please feel free, if that's going to give you an easier time, if they can see it, feel free to add anybody to the team page that you need to see what you're doing and see what's happening. And because I've personally felt that really did help. And I had Neil to Dash to Diamond as well, because he then because if he can see it, then he backs off a little bit and he doesn't give me he doesn't moan as much. Well, the thing is, obviously, I work from home, so I'm here for the kids for the pickups. But I'm already looking at January and thinking, right, okay, so I've got things coming into January where I'm going to need help with the kids. So if he sees it going a little bit mental, he can cope with it then, and he knows that me being here, there, and everywhere is paying off because he can see it. So feel free to add anybody that you need to. Right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen, and we'll go through this little bit. Oh, we've been chatting for half an hour and we've not gone through anything yet. I don't think this.
Do you want it on mute, Mel?
You can do. It's not too bad on the background noise, so it's not a problem.
I'll pop me on for now. I just thought I'm going to walk around with this while I just.
Okay. So like I say, so I was thinking to myself today, because I like to keep it fresh for you. I'm like, what can I say that I've not said before? So I did a little bit of a search, and I was like, okay, so what's the difference between when you're treating your business like a business or you're treating it like a hobby? Because obviously treating it like a hobby is not how you get to Ruby. It's when you treat it like a business. So I found a little article, and it had this quote at the beginning of it. It's hilarious, but I really love this article, and I think it's absolutely spot on with some of the differences. And it's basically about what an entrepreneur is. Okay. But it says, in a bacon and egg breakfast, the chicken is involved, but the pig is committed. I thought that was really So, well, the pig's dead, obviously. So, but I thought that really epitomised the true essence of commitment, and it does, and it really made me chuckle because it went on to say about we all know at least one self-professed entrepreneur who claims to be committed but seems to treat it like a part-time hobby. And I think when you're in this business in particular, you don't know one. You probably need, about 15 to 20 when you get to my level, and especially when I get to know sidelines as well. And it just becomes very apparent that there is a very different mindset out there. And clearly this was going along the bacon theme when it said that they won't put any personal skin in the game, and is quick to give up when things are tough. And I think that is the key thing. If you've been with us from a period of time and you've gone through the summer, and then you've got to September, October time, November, where things start to pick up again. And then December, people start to be thinking, oh, I don't know if I can become a loyal customer because I've got Christmas coming up. And you've got that, you've got the difference between people who want to wrap because they want to get into the little black dresses, but everybody's focused on obviously sending money to Santa. But it was saying how there are no middle roads to real commitment, and I think that is so, so true. And I just really liked that sentiment there, about the commitment thing. So then it went on to talk about 7 ways that you can spot basically an entrepreneur. And it's so true. So it talks about actively seeks leadership and responsibility. And how a lot of people need the comfort of following rather than leading. And when things go wrong, it's then easier to point to someone else as the scapegoat. And obviously we see this all the time within our business. So people the most common one here is people saying, my upline doesn't give me the support that I need. My upline's in America, therefore I haven't got training support. All that stuff. But the true person who will see success is the person that basically doesn't make it. It talks about the promises anyone makes on your behalf are yours. So you need to be ready to accept that the buck stops here and make it work. And we work in a team industry. And, we are reliant a lot upon our team. But the minute you start to think to yourself, and I know because I've been there and I've done there and I've got the T-shirt, the reason I'm not seeing the success I want is because of my team, that's just a no-go. So the minute that you go, I'm going to be the hardest working person in my team, and there's a diamond chart, there's 24 spaces in it. Okay, how do I find 24 people? Now, obviously, we don't want you to find 24 people, but the minute you take that personal responsibility and go, if that space needs filling in that person's Ruby chart, can I fill it? That's then when things get really quite interesting. Exhibits surging raw ambition. Love that. That you're just ambitious, okay? And you might not, you've got to believe in yourself, obviously. You've got to believe that you can do it and have confidence in your abilities. Now, you might not have confidence in every single one of your abilities. You might not, so Tracy, probably technology is not Tracy's, strong point. But then Tracy's had a confidence in her ability from face to face. So she works on the other side, but she knows that she's got that she can go for. For me personally, I'm confident that I can talk to people and sign them as distributors. For me, it was loyal customers that were the biggest thing. If somebody needed a box fill in with loyal customers, that would just send me into a complete flap. because I can fill boxes on a chart with distributors all day long. But you have to be confident, but you can work on the other stuff. So you don't have to be confident in everything. You just have to have a confidence in one area that you're going to go for it and know that you can work on the rest. I love this as well, that they have many ideas. Some of them are more workable than others. And that is just so leadership. I love that when I first started speaking to Kayomi was constantly talking about how she wanted to do the biggest wrap parties and get 100 people in a room. And, she was full of ideas of what she can do. Fee's set up on the 9th of January, this amazing, charity thing. That's leadership just right there, that you're thinking of the ideas, and it doesn't matter. And I'm sure Fee, your event will be a huge success, but it doesn't matter if you do an opportunity event and nobody turns up. Doesn't matter, Tracy, does it? It's just an opportunity to learn from it. And you'll have so many ideas that you can't get them all done. I know that's what I'm like. I just have to write everything down and just think at some point in time I'll get to it. But it doesn't matter. As long as you're willing to just go for it and try it, then that's the key thing. Minimum positive feedback required. I really liked this one. It's lonely at the top. My mum always says that to me. It's lonely at the top, and luckily we've got incredible team networks that we can talk to each other, and so it doesn't have to be completely lonely at the top. But I think what this talks about is that this is about whether you need constant somebody saying you're amazing, you're doing well, you're doing this, you're doing that, constantly. And the truth is that you have to motivate yourself. So you have to get up in the morning when you're self-employed, and you have to motivate yourself. And there's no. It's weird because it should be the greatest motivation of all, because you don't get paid unless you work. But it doesn't work like that with a lot of people. It isn't the greatest motivation, and they can find everything but to do rather than work their business and do the tasks that are put out there. So the fact, it says minimum positive feedback, but I think that's basically minimum motivation. So, you don't need to motivate that person. They've got their own motivation. Your social life is not your highest priority. So if you find yourself unable to clear your head of work-related thoughts at the end of the day, that's committed. So Fee is clearly in that place at the moment. Your husband's sick of you. He's like, for God's sake, these bloody wraps, that's all she's on about. She's on that phone all the time. And obviously, social relationships are important. And you do need to blank out work from time to time. I tried to yesterday a little bit, but with a buy one get one free till 3 o'clock, it was pretty bloody impossible. I was signing a loyal customer in Starbucks with my mum, and I just kept saying, hold on, we'll go in just 1 minute. Okay, I've just got to do this and I've just got to do that. Luckily, my mum's really supportive because she loves that I work from home and that I can do stuff with the boys. So she's really, but you do, honestly, it's if social priorities are at the top of your list, you're probably not going to enjoy being an entrepreneur. It's as simple as that.
That was like me yesterday as well. I was in Leicester and I was about to go and do some shopping, and I realised that the 3 o'clock, so I had to leave and then go back.
Yeah. And that flexibility is it works both ways. But yeah, I know last year I can remember there was an evening out at the end of February. I didn't go because I said my people might need me. There was a social event at the end of March.
You're not going to that? You're staying in?
You what, sorry?
I remember you staying in on certain nights.
And I did. And do you know what? I never thought that I'd do that. I'm a proper social butterfly. I love going out. And so, yeah, so the one in March was the more surprising one. And I said to Neil, so I sent Neil and the boys off to a friend's house to do a party. And I went at 10 o'clock to pick him up and just had one drink and drove them home. Crazy, absolutely crazy. But, it was so worth it. It was absolutely so worth it.
Yeah, I kind of get that as well, because Doug already has, well, this is his second business, so I've always been the one there to support him, and so basically what happens is that, we work hard, but we play hard too, so he understands that, and that's good, but he's not used to me having my own thing, usually I'm there just to support him. But it's funny you should say that, because I already know that I have got a girls' weekend planned for the last weekend in January, where we're supposed to be in a lodge in the middle of nowhere up in Loch Lomond. And my little head is already telling me that, I can just imagine that I'm going to be those last few days pushing, hopefully, for something. And how can I get out of it? How am I going to be? I've paid all my money to go, but I actually think to myself, I know what I'll do. Then I'll have to hit my target, whatever it is, whether it's Ruby or executive or whatever. I'll hit it by the Friday so I can still go.
I was just about to say, okay, so we've got till the Friday, so it's just going to have to be that you don't wait till the end of the month.
Yeah, that's it.
Definitely. Yeah, I can see that definitely happening.
Yeah, definitely. I know. Never mind.
No, I mean, you hitting it early, not you having to miss your weekend.
Oh, well, I hope so.
And then you can go and celebrate whilst you're away.
Yeah. So, yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, definitely. That would be amazing. Oh, bless you. Yeah, and then we were just the unpredictable working hours. So Tracy having to leave her shopping so that she could go home and do a buy one get one free. And some people need that. Some people need to know, and I think I can completely understand it, because I used to need it. I was talking to Joe and Tracy about it, and how when I worked at Molson Coors, there was the opportunity for me to go into sales and be on my own, and I was like, oh, I don't think I can do that. And I still very much like to have a little bit of structure. My calendar, I like to have that bit of structure with regards to, okay, so on a Monday, I've got all day. On a Tuesday, Louis comes home at lunchtime and we've got swimming. And then on a Wednesday is team meeting night. And on Thursday is, online wrap party. So I think you can work it, even if if you do like that predictability, you can do it. But then you do have to then be willing, because obviously I've got the flexibility with the school run, that just means my evenings are predominantly working. That's something that you just flick it around. And it says, if you're annoyed rather than exhilarated at the thought. So for me, when I look at January and I think, oh God, right, so I've got a wrap party then, I've got a wrap party then, I've got this then, I've got that then, I get really excited about how busy I'm going to be and that I'm not going to have time to breathe. That's amazing for me. And obviously some people would find that absolutely, that just wouldn't fit with them. Yeah, and I go on in a bit to talk about this, but see vacation as an interruption. I just make sure I've got Wi-Fi. And I do, it talks about it may not be healthy. The truth is that when I went away with my boys, both to London recently and to, I've had quite a few breaks. So even though I've taken calls, I took a call in London with a girl that I went to wrap, but I still feel like I have a break. It's not that I don't feel like I have a break, but I think if you've got that mentality where if you're going away, and it's like, no, I'm not, I don't want to look at a single message whatsoever. Even if I'm just sat by the pool and I just have to respond to somebody, then it's probably, it probably isn't the best fit, really. And then haven't even thought about retirement. I loved this, is that, and I watched a program recently, and it was a guy from the range, and it was, what is it, Eamon Holmes and his wife, can't remember her name.
Yeah, I watched it as well, yeah.
Watched that program, and they said to him, you're a billionaire, opened all these stores, yet you're still working, you know, and doing, and he just loved it. He loved it, and he you know, he got the buzz from it and everything. And I just looked and I just thought, oh my God, yeah, I can imagine. And you know, when you see people like Denise Walsh going Black Diamond, and they're still working it, and you just think it's because they love it. And I think in particular, what I think I love about it is when these people do get to like the ambassador level, is, and I know from when I hit diamond that you just want your team to hit diamond. So at every level, you just think, I can't wait for my team to feel this feeling too. And it it doesn't just become about you and your family. It becomes about other people's families as well. And that's why, when it isn't about the money, it's about the freedom that it gives people. So how does it fit with it work? So then I went through and quickly, you know, just thought, okay, so, you know, are you the chicken or are you the pig? And then
both.
If you're really committed, and it isn't a hobby, you know, you're on this call, you're on the challenge group, you're messaging those 4 people, you're consistent on social media, you're using the online party, you're inspiring your team, you're watching their success, you're recognising their efforts, you're congratulating them, you're on the team page, you're vocal, you're blitzing everyone, you're setting yourself clear goals and you're going for them. You know, you're communicating, you know, you're on Messenger communicating with your upline. When you're going for diamond, that will be daily. You'll be on that phone daily, because you'll you know, that you'll get that motivation and that excitement, and you're following up. That is it. And, you know, as I was writing this, I thought, and this is where I get to, is that I'm just repeating myself, really, because that's it. There's no secret. There's nothing else to tell you. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff we can do about mindsets and trainings and, you know, product trainings and all that sort of stuff, especially when we start getting the new people in. But that list there is it. If you're doing those things, it will work. It is that simple. So, you know, actively seeks leadership and responsibility. And this is things like, so for me, the key things is that you take responsibility for your own success. Look to blame your team, that you go, right, okay, if basically you're the hardest working person on your team. And I thought this was really key. So the auto shipment, or making sure that you're commission qualified. And I found this: without customers, you don't have a business, you have a hobby. And that is crucial, I think. If you're not ordering stock in whichever way, shape or form that is, if you've not got wraps that are coming into your home for you to sell on to people, then it is just a hobby. You're just doing a little bit of stuff on Facebook to keep it going. And then I was like, okay, so how does that look? How do we push it then? So, and this is something I want to really, really try and encourage, in particular on the team pages and stuff, is that we're not only partaking in team challenges, but they're being organised by other people. So I know people send me little messages sometimes with little pictures on, and I'm like, share them on the team page, share them on the Dash to Diamond, share these ideas. And I think people get a bit nervous sometimes, and I know I'm a control freak, so that I do take responsibility for that. But let's get stuck in and let's get you guys going, okay, I am going to organise a giant wrap party in this area for my distributor, completely and utterly, you know, taking that and running with it. The active and visibly present, so as we've said, I've just talked about that. And this one I thought as well, you know, and Tracy and I work on this. Sarah's a little bit less confident on the team training calls, but she does help us with ideas of what we can talk about. But not just listening to them, but if you've found something, or, you know, Tracy will say to me, I think we need to go over steps to success again, because I think that we need to get back to basics. So, you know, and Tracy did a call a few weeks ago. Let's get it so that it's from you guys, so it's not just my voice all the time. So it just, you know, it's gonna really then, it's gonna elevate your confidence. It's gonna elevate your place on the team page. So when you're adding prospects onto the team page and they see that you are heading up calls. So again, thinking of January, as we go into January, if you think that you've got something that you can share, and you will all have something that you can share, you will all have your own thing that you're really good at, that you think, you know, that people can learn from and be inspired by. Let's get you doing a call. Even if you just want to do a steps to success call, even if we're doing the opportunity calls every week and somebody different wants to lead those, it'll elevate you. It really will. As I said, organise opportunity meetings, organising stands or tables for events. I know Janine's well on that at the moment, trying to organise loads of different events and stands and trying to do things like that. All of those different things are you stepping up as a leader and taking responsibility. Exhibit surging more ambition, so comes up with new ideas for the team. You know, and you're all more than capable of that. You know, when I see the stuff that you're putting on the Dash to Diamond, you know, there's loads of different stuff. You're all more than capable of helping each other on answering queries. And I'd really like us to do a template. So when we're doing these 4 new messages, I'd really like us to do a template. But I don't want it to be just me that writes it. I really want to get everybody's input into it as to, you know, what they're finding and what they're saying. I love this. I love this quote. If things seem under control, you're just not going fast enough. It made me feel so much better about the fact that my life is never in control. Minimum positive feedback required. So again, we've talked about this, but you inspire yourself. And I think a key thing here is that you see constructive criticism as the best thing. I crave, if you've got something and you think to yourself, do you know what, Mel, I think if you did this or you did that, then that would be better. Please tell me. I might look miffed when you tell me, because anybody does. I can remember Tracy telling me once about the team calls and that they worked better when there was slides. And I really wanted to swear at her. But do you know what? I did slides following it. Took it on board, didn't I?
You did.
And I put more structure around it. I put more structure around the team training calls. At that point in time, my Microsoft Office wasn't working, so there was a genuine reason. I'd just moved house, and everything just seemed to go to pot. And when she first said it, I really didn't like it. I thought, hold on a minute, I'm really trying hard here. But I took it on board, and me and Tracy have this relationship anyway. I'll tell her stuff, and she's like that. Don't say that to me. I don't want to hear it. But then we go away and we think about it, and I think we all do the same thing. Everybody does it. If somebody says to you, maybe if you tried this, this, and this, you might feel a little bit like, well, what was wrong with it in the first place? But it really does give you the opportunity to grow, and you can only get better. And the one thing I know is that anything I ever say or anything that hopefully is ever said back to me is usually coming from a good intention place. And if it is purely to help somebody, then if you know, they might at first think, why did you say that? But they'll come round. I do. Tracy does.
Yeah, I have a sulk and then I do it.
Well, I did the same. I had to sulk. I was like, oh, well, just get lost then. About my team calls. Got quite touchy about it, to be honest. But I took it on board and thought, okay, so maybe I needed to not be quite the same. And we talked about this quite a bit. You know, if you're putting off coming on team calls because you'd rather watch TV or do the laundry, you're going to struggle. It is really as simple as that. If every single month at the end of the month, even if you've set yourself a goal, you put in a dinner date in on the last day of the month, you're a bit stuffed, really. And I'm not saying it's not that it's every single month that you're going to feel like that, but there are certain months when you're going for big goals and you just have to, you know, sacrifice. There is a sacrifice to be made, and not everybody is prepared to make that sacrifice. You know, all I can do is, and I think all Tracy can say is that it's worth it. It is completely and utterly worth it. And that's it. And so one of my favourite quotes is that you work a few years of your life like most won't, to live the rest of your life like others can't. Or is it can't, or which way round is it? Oh, what's the quote? I was going to look for it. It's an entrepreneur quote that says you spend a couple of years working like most won't, to live a life that most never will, or something. I'll have to find it. It's a lovely quote. But you know, it is the truth. You know, the hours that I worked in them first years then set me up that I could work from home with my boys. And then the hours I worked last year, you know, set me up that the team is now in the most incredibly strong position. And then the hours that I work for the next, you know, God, whatever year. And some days are longer than others, you know, some it's not always that it's ridiculous. But, you know, when I think that, you know, I can enable Neil. So today had a real moment with Louis. Louis said, oh, is Daddy coming for dinner? When I was sat having my Christmas dinner with Louis, and I said, oh, luckily the table were at, none of the dads were there. But I just said, oh, Daddy can't come because he's at work, can he? And he did look a little bit like, oh. He was happy for me to be there, obviously. And tomorrow is his nativity play, and Neil will be, you know, running in and out, basically. And that's what motivates me. When I sit with Louis and I think to myself, you're only 4, you're not actually starting reception until September. I could actually enable your daddy to have Christmas dinner with you all the way through school now. How amazing is that? That I could, you know, that can enable to happen. So for me personally, that's worth any amount of working, you know, unsociable hours, and doing things that, you know, don't necessarily fit. And I just thought of me and you, Tracy, here. So the vacation. So when I insisted on booking a holiday for 10 days rather than a fortnight, I wouldn't go away for a fortnight because it would meant I'd miss the end of month. And I said I'd only go for 10 days rather than a week if it was in a country that we were opening so I could blitz. I think at that point Neil knew I was pretty serious. And I think for Tracy, when her family holiday was actually at Lyon at the conference, and both Tamsin and Mark were there, and I'm not saying that has to be the norm, not at all. Obviously, you know, we all need our holidays and everything, but it just made me chuckle I just had to chuckle at those two examples that we'd got in our own team, of people being committed. I think my husband will probably commit me to something else if I insisted on it again next year, because the weather wasn't great in Spain. I don't think we'll be going to Spain again. And then when they talked about haven't even thought about retired, I was like, well, I'm already retired. So, and I'm working on retiring my husband. So the only thought about retirement I've got is that I'm already really there. I've got an amazing life, and it's only going to get better, and my whole life will be like just a big holiday, really. So that was pretty amazing. So Ruby, print your chart out. What do you need? Look at it daily. Work with those that are working and follow the steps. You all know this. It's really not rocket science. It's really simple stuff. It's just all in the attitude and the mindset, and the positivity as well. So that's a huge thing. The goal setting of saying, right, I want, say for example, Sophie, right, I want by the 27th of January to be executive. I'm going to go for Ruby, but anything less than executive is completely unacceptable. That's your goal, and then that's it. You just work towards that, and it will happen. That will happen. Get that in, and then so I think we're gonna have to really. Ruby would be good because we need it by end of March for you to be diamond, don't we? Because we're going to have you on April unless you did it mid-month. So April the 23rd, when we do the One Team One Mission, you're going there as a diamond.
I am. Definitely. Yeah. Ruby by January. Ruby by the end of January.
Yeah.
Start as we mean to go on.
To be fair, you've got the top line, isn't it? It's just working underneath the top line.
Yeah.
You've got your 3, haven't you? Well, you've got more than 3, but you know what I mean. You've got 3.
Yeah.
That are working now.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. 2 really, but yeah, no, I still need more. I'm still looking for those ones. So.
Yeah, but you've signed this lady. She could be 400 leg.
She could be.
This new girl could be a 400 leg.
Well, to go from having 1 member of staff to 16 in a year and build up your own business. She's
clearly got something, hasn't she?
She's the right type of person. So
yeah,
you just have to hope that she has a little bit of time or sees the benefits of doing this. So
what the ideal for her would be if she signs people underneath her that are working for her.
Yeah, which is a big possibility.
Yeah.
I've already thought about that, so that's why I want to try and maybe get her along to the January thing.
Definitely.
I've already got other people. I've actually already got another two potential DTs. One who put that she couldn't come, and then now for some reason she's changed her mind and accepted it. So I'm like that. Ooh, good.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm sure. I'm hoping it'll happen.
Yeah. Well, Lisa's up for it. Lisa's up for it for definite. She's up for So I think you've got definitely 3 that I think could. That are going to want to think about going executive. So that's brilliant.
Yeah. And anything I can get in between now and January, that's what I'm concentrating on now, is just to try and get some more DTs, really. Everything I'm posting is more towards, I can get loyals all day long, but and they'll come in January anyway, so but it's really just posting to try and attract people to join up. And I know they're watching because the ones that have that even friends and stuff, or that I've sent a little personal message inviting them to the event as well, they all are saying, you know, oh, you've been busy and da da da. So I know even though they're not in touch that they're watching. So
Yeah,
hopefully
they are.
as long as I put on a good show in January, then hopefully we'll maybe attract some more.
No, you will do. You will do.
Yeah.
You will. You'll do amazing in January. I've no doubt about it at all. I think you'll just stand up and talk about what you want to achieve and what you believe you can achieve, and they'll just come along with you.
Yeah. I know.
I do.
Good.
Yeah, it is. It's exciting. But yeah, so yeah, definitely. So like I say, just keep doing what you're doing. Kayomi, obviously, you know, you're working really hard. Has Jermaine got his pack?
Well, he said he corresponded with Hermes, and Hermes says that they have his package. So I was just like, "Are you sure?" And he says, "Well, that's what they said." So I'm like, all right.
Oh my God.
How
That's
oh,
great. That is so great.
yeah.
I'm really glad that he got it back, because he went into a really depressed mode, and he was just like, I can't believe it, because he has a bit of issues with his mum sometimes. So he really thought it was that, and it just feels like a breath of relief for him that it's not.
Yeah.
But
No.
happy about that.
That's brilliant. That is